Welcome to another edition of Green is Good. This is the Houlihan Lokey edition of Green is Good. We're here in beautiful New York City, New York, and we're so honored to have with us today James Devlin. He's the CEO of ReCommunity Recycling. Welcome to Green is Good, James.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here and look forward to a lively conversation.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about our favorite subject, recycling. But before we get talking about recycling, I want you to share with our audience the James Devlin story. How did you get here, and how did you become the CEO of one of the largest recycling companies in America?
Great. Yeah, I often wonder how I got here. but thanks for asking. I've been the CEO for ReCommunity for the last couple of years. Prior to that, I was the CEO of a company called Thermofluids, which was the third largest collector and processor of waste oil. So again, in the environmental services space. Really enjoyed that business, and ultimately we sold that one, and that's enabled me to come to work for ReCommunity. And before that, about roughly 20 plus years in the environmental services business, from Browning Ferris Industries to waste management. So I've always had my fingers in that sustainability and recycling pie, so to speak. And obviously I'm just thrilled to be able to continue to pursue that in the current day. And
James, and for our audience members out there, ReCommunity, to find James' great company, you could go to ReCommunity.com. ReCommunity.com. What does ReCommunity Recycling do when you come to a city or to a municipality?
Great question. And what we do, we're the largest independent processor of curbside generated municipal material, recyclables.
Wow.
And the third largest in our space. And basically what we do, we've got 31 facilities in 14 states.
Wow.
That basically, we don't collect it. We don't dispose of anything. Our sole mission in life is value extraction from the commodity stream, and we'll process about 12 different commodities, and then ultimately we go from industrial processing, if you will, to worldwide marketer of commodities all over the world. In terms of volume, we'll sell to China, some goes to Europe, obviously a lot stays here domestically as well. Our company employs 1,500 dedicated employees that their sole mission in life is obviously to be safe and environmentally compliant. But everyone likes their role in life because they're doing something that is important, and in terms of sustainability, they love what they do.
Yeah, your company every day makes the world a better place.
Yeah, I believe so. That's our mission.
That's right. So what today, given we're in 2015 and we have competing trends out there right now, James, we have the sustainability revolution's on fire in many ways here in America, especially with millennials and the next generation. But we're facing this world where commodities have taken a dip for a while. So talk a little bit about both the challenges and the great opportunities that are in front of your company, ReCommunity.
Absolutely. I mean, first, if you think about our industry, it's a $25 billion industry, employs millions. I think the payroll in our industry is over $20 billion. It's amazing. It's 2% of GDP, so it's a massive size industry that we're in. And that's the good news. And there's a lot of sustainable jobs that can be developed. And right now, if you look at the waste stream, only about a third of it is currently being diverted today. And I think the real opportunity into the future is, as these programs continue to mature, technologies continue to evolve, and just as importantly, markets for these commodities continue to develop, more and more materials will be diverted from the stream, which represents a significant amount of growth for ReCommunity, but also our municipal partners as they think about their mandates in terms of environmental sustainability. Now, you talked about the decline in commodity pricing.
Yeah.
If you look at this snapshot in time, you've got what we call a perfect storm, and others call it something a bit more graphic. But if you think about it, you've got a decline in commodity pricing, you've got rising labor costs because the economy's getting better, and also there's a lot of wage requirements by states that continue to drive our single largest cost component. Then you've got increasing costs as it relates to processing this material from a maintenance standpoint and a processing standpoint. Then lastly, I think you talked about a little bit, Alan, and maybe you're leading up to it, the composition change in the waste stream and the value stream that we're looking at. And our biggest concern is inbound quality. It's not necessarily that O&P as old newspapers as a percentage is dropping, and OCC is increasing. Our biggest concern and our biggest challenge today is MSW and contamination in our inbound stream, which obviously it's a safety issue for our people. It's an economic issue. If you think about, we go through all this effort to process this material, and roughly 15 to 20% of what we process ends up going back to the landfill. It's incredibly inefficient to do that. And then obviously it's an opportunity cost at our MRFs, our material recovery facilities, because they compete with our technologies for separation and diversion. They blind screens, they make it much more difficult to separate out these high value commodities and return them to market. And then our most important concern is obviously the safety of our people. It exposes our people to materials.
Share what you mean though about contamination, because our audience should hear this. This is a very important message that's not discussed well enough by experts like you on a regular basis. Share what you mean by contaminated waste streams.
Yeah, if you think about where it's generated, you always have to go back, and you go back to the consumer, right?
Right.
And so many times, and I even see it with my own family as I continue to kind of crawl through our recycle bin like a raccoon sometimes. But when I see what's going in there, and people refer to it as wishful recycling. They just when in doubt, put this in the bin because there's an outside chance they might be able to recycle it. And you see styrofoam, you see PVC, you see batteries and those type of things. You'll see hoses. Wow, that's rubber. They can process hoses, or plastic or low density polyethylene bags that actually get in the screens and make it very, very difficult to extract. And it blinds our screens to extract the true commodities that are there. So that is our single largest challenge today. And our municipal partners are concerned about it. We are concerned about it. And we've got to work collaboratively to solve it. It's education. It's some of the things that we're doing. We've got this called Project IQ, which at 4 of our facilities, we've dedicated personnel that do nothing but take digital pictures of the material coming in. We get truck numbers by day, and our municipal partners work really well with us to clean up the stream. In fact, I'll give you a plug for the city of Philadelphia.
Sure.
They're very progressive. There was always this history of their stream not being as clean as they'd like. They worked hand in hand with us, and were able to identify the routes that generated the contamination, and they moved very aggressively to clean up the stream because it's in their best interest, it's in ours, it's in the consumer's best interest ultimately if we can keep our costs down. And again, our overarching issue is the safety of our personnel. There's so many things that come up that
safety first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got it. So we're talking about contamination. Talk a little bit about separation. Why in America, James, from a social perspective, and of course a business perspective that affects your business and industry so much, how come we're not able to separate better and label better when we're tossing stuff out so cans don't have a dirty diaper in there, and other and people are taught how to clean out a pizza box before they send it into you and things of that such. Right.
It's going to be, obviously there's evolutions in consumer preferences, and you've got packaging that contribute to that, where you've got, historically you might have a packaging product that was all polypropylene. Today it may be mixed with other technically commodities that are subject to being able to recycle but not cost effectively, and there's no markets that exist for them today. So you see this confluence of what was formerly recyclable material being mixed with other materials that make it commercially unviable to remove the product. And it's going to be constant education. I think so many times our municipal partners and we all work together, and it's not a one and done. And we have education rooms at every one of our facilities that if you grab somebody in the 2nd or 3rd grade and you develop those habits at that age, certainly you'll begin to see that over time, and it pays dividends. But the thing that's really more important than that, or just as important, is that recycling has to be, in order for us to be environmentally sustainable, it has to be economically sustainable. And I think the thing that we're working with our municipal partners is, processors like ReCommunity and others need to make a fair rate of return on the investments, because these plants are $15 million and they're 20-year contracts with our municipal partners. Simply have to make a fair rate of return regardless if commodity pricing is at $150 a blended rate per ton or $2 a blended rate per ton. We're an environmental infrastructure for our cities and municipal partners, and we have to be in a position where we're making a fair rate of return in order to continue to invest and recapitalize in some of the new technologies that are available out there to make our programs even better.
That's got it. And for our audience members that just joined us, we've got James Devlin. He's the CEO of ReCommunity Recycling. You can find his great company at ReCommunity.com. It is the leading recycling company in the United States right now. James, you gave a shout out to Philadelphia a little while ago. Can you give a couple other great examples of ReCommunity going to work with a city or municipality, and how a great public-private partnership with a city can really look like, and talk about some of your success stories you've had at ReCommunity, please.
Yeah, and I'll be glad to do that. And I think what we want to do is work collaboratively with our cities and identify where the problems are, pinpoint them, and work together. So I don't want to necessarily single out other cities.
Yeah.
But we've got another large municipal partner, let's just say in the West, that we're working with.
Sure.
They're very interested in cleaning up the stream. They've got 21 inspectors on the street. Wow. So if we can develop the right process and work collaboratively with them to identify, trucks by day, they can go out and affect really significant change. We're finishing out an education room at this particular facility with this partner. So that's an example where we're working on multi-layers. They're incredibly active in social media. Wow. And you mentioned the millennials and how interested they are in recycling, and they're innovative in the way that they reach out to these partners. So I mean, that's an example. It's multi-layered. It's generators. It's our municipal partners, meaning the cities and the various governmental agencies that we work with, and ultimately ReCommunity, making sure that we get the right materials, the right, and we can access the right markets and have a sustainable outcome for everybody. Everybody should win in this situation. I think the paradigm shift is that there's a social need for recycling, and it simply has to be balanced it's got to be economically sustainable for this to work in these low commodity markets that you mentioned, Alan, that exist today, but will mean revert at some point. But you just need a capital structure and a relationship with our cities that enable these type of movements in commodity prices.
James, great CEOs like you don't wake up thinking, oh, I have the leading brand, we're number one. You wake up thinking how to make the company better.
Absolutely.
And also how to grow the company. What's the growth look like in the coming years ahead for ReCommunity?
Yeah.
How big can this grow, and how many more communities and states and cities can you be serving?
Yeah, it's unlimited. If you look at the possibility for growth for our company, first of all, if you take a look at the number of programs out there that are still dual stream that could convert to single stream. So that's basically, for everyone's edification, the dual stream would be separating at the curbside 3 buckets for fiber and cans and bottles, very difficult and clumsy for generators to use, to single stream where it's one 65 or 95 gallon container, they put it all together. When we see programs that convert, we'll usually see volume increases of 20 to 50%. So that's one opportunity to grow in terms of being unlimited. You've still got small markets that are underserved, and we're looking at developing a solution for these smaller municipalities and cities that say are 100,000 and less, that don't have access, and they have to ship it to distant processing plants, which is not necessarily cost effective, and they may have a high disposal rate. So diversion is really important to them because they want to look at it economically as well as environmentally. What can they get accomplished? And also we're looking at different ways to deal with one of the biggest challenges within our industry space, and that's dealing with glass. We think it's a problem, but we're thinking hard about solutions and the best method by which we can process the glass, find markets, and we spent probably in R&D and research probably in the last 2 or 3 years, and we think we're getting close to a solution that we're really excited about. That really takes a significant problem that exists today, because glass is roughly 20 to 25% of what is being collected and processed. However, a relatively small percentage of it is being returned to markets because it's so difficult to process. It's so heavily contaminated with organics, other fiber material, and those type of things. And also, it's got to be sorted by color. There's, I could go through this whole thing. But again, the way that we look at it, it's a solution. It's a problem today, but we think we're closing in on some solutions that could really be innovative and interesting for our municipal partners. And the key is, can we set this up of which it is economically sustainable for investors to continue to capitalize in these type of projects?
So you continue to do R&D and innovate at your company?
We must. We must. I mean, just from optical sortations to new optical sorters to try to get greater extraction, value extraction from the streams. We're looking at screens that try to deal with this significant contamination that we see today, that effectively somewhat clean themselves, so to speak, so we don't have this constant blinding of our screens, losing high-value commodities because we've got bags and wire and hoses that wrap around these screens that prevent our people from doing their jobs.
How has the Chinese green fence affected your company, James?
And I'll say it's an industry impact. I don't think.
Yes.
I don't think it's specific to us.
No.
Yeah, because the good news is I think by any measure, ReCommunity has the highest quality. Outbound quality with respect to commodities. I think we're considered to be some of the best processors out there, and we generate really wonderful commodities. So when we're selling to China in particular, they are right now they're trying to enforce a specification of 2 to 3% contamination.
Right.
So the impact on the industry is that there's greater processing costs to meet that specification. There's greater residue generation associated with it, and then fortunately we don't see a lot of commodities being rejected in China. But if you take a load of fiber, send it to China, and it is rejected there on the docks, extremely expensive proposition to deal with that is driving up costs for our peers within this industry too. So I think the whole key is what can be done to find markets that are here in the United States that can meet the quality specifications that can make a lot of these commodity streams commercially viable. But again, those are some of the impacts of green fence. We understand why they're there. Certainly, we're going to cooperate with the purchasers and buyers of our material. We have great relationships with them. But the long and the short of it is, it's going to have a direct impact on commodity markets, and it's going to ripple through. So if there's a cost borne by ReCommunity, ultimately it's going to ripple back to the generators and our municipal partners as we enter into these type of
Makes
projects.
Sense. And we're down to the last minute or so, James. For our young entrepreneurs and ecopreneurs out there in the United States and around the world who want to grow up to be the next James Devlin, to make the world a better place, what tips of advice can you give them on the path forward?
Yeah, if you can go out there and take problems today and find solutions for them, people want to recycle. People want to divert. Everybody, I can't think of ever taking a poll that somebody says, I don't want to be sustainable, I think the environment's not important, and let's keep doing what we're doing. Finding solutions to really difficult problems and working collaboratively to make sure that they're as economically sustainable as they are environmentally sustainable.
That's wonderful. And thank you again, James. We're going to have you back on another time to continue the journey and the story of ReCommunity. For our listeners and audience out there, please go check out James' company. It's www.recommunity.com, recommunity.com. James Devlin, you're not only a recycling rock star, but you're an inspiring innovator, and you make the world a better place every day. And thank you for being on Green is Good.
Yeah, I'd love to take credit. It's all the 1,500 employees that do all the work, and I try to go out there and steal credit when I can, but we've got a great team of dedicated professionals that do it every single day.
Well, that's what makes you a great CEO. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mal.
Take care. Bye-bye.